Royal Caribbean, 13 shocking fees you're paying. Without knowing, in 2025, you've finally boarded your Royal Caribbean ship. The steel drums are playing, the wind is in your hair, and you're thinking, this is it, the dream vacation. But then, bam, your SeaPass account starts bleeding money faster than a slot machine in Vegas. First, it's $7 here, $12 there. By the time you check your final bill, you've racked up hundreds in surprise charges you never saw coming. Today, we're re-exposing the 13 shocking Royal Caribbean fees you repaying without even knowing in 2025. And more importantly, how to stop them before your dream cruise turns into a wallet nightmare. Let's dive in. Number 1. The service charge that isn't optional. You order your very first drink on embarkation day, a cold pina colada topped with a pineapple wedge that looks straight out of a magazine ad. The bartender smiles, swipes your card, and you're already thinking, worth it, vacation mode, on. But here's the kicker. That $12 cocktail, it just morphed into nearly $15 the second it hit your account. Why? Because Royal Caribbean automatically tacks on an 18 to 20% gratuity service charge to almost every beverage and specialty dining purchase. And no, you can't just say, oh, I'll tip in cash instead. That fee is locked in. A couple I met on Harmony of the Seas thought they were budget drinkers. They each had maybe 2 cocktails a day. Harmless, right? By the end of their 7-night sailing, they were slapped with over $180 in hidden service fees, just from those little add-ons stacking up. The worst part? They didn't even notice until the last night when they printed their account summary. Try sleeping with that math swirling in your head. Why this matters? That automatic gratuity means the price you see on menus is never the price you actually pay. It's like cruise ship math. $12 somehow equals $14, $20. And once you multiply that by a week of indulgence, you're re-looking at an entire excursion's worth of money gone to fees you didn't see budget for. Do this instead. Here, the pro move. If you know you're going to drink more than 2 sodas or cocktails a day, consider the drink package. But do the math first. Don't just buy it blindly. Add up what you'd realistically drink and compare it to the package price with gratuities included. And if you don't drink much, skip the package but mentally add 20% to every menu price you see. That way you're never blindsided by the total when your account statement hits. Because nothing ruins a sunset martini faster than realizing you just paid $16 for it. Number 2. Room service isn't free anymore. It's midnight. You're in your cabin after a long day exploring Cozumel. You're starving, but you don't want to trek across the ship in flip-flops just for fries. So you open the app, tap room service, and think, this is vacation. Why not? You order a burger and a slice of cheesecake. They arrive hot and delicious until you check your account. Surprise, there's an extra $7.95 delivery fee tacked on. And no, that doesn't include tip. One family I chatted with on Wonder of the Seas thought late-night room service was a cheap dinner option for their kids. By the end of the week, their bill showed over $80 in room service fees, basically the cost of a specialty restaurant dinner. The kicker? Even a single cup of coffee delivered at breakfast racks up the same charge. Yep, you just paid $8 for coffee you could have grabbed free at the buffet. Why this matters? That $7.95 may not sound like much, but it's per order. Which means if your teenager calls room service separately, that's another $7.95. Do that 3 times a night for a week, and suddenly you've paid more for delivery fees than you did for your balcony upgrade. Do this instead. Here's the hack. Room service continental breakfast, like cereal, pastries, fruit, coffee, is still free in the morning. Use that to stock up and keep snacks in your cabin mini fridge. For late-night munchies, skip the delivery and head to Cafe Promenade or Sorrento's Pizza, both open late and included in your fare. Because the only thing worse than midnight hunger is paying $8 for soggy fries in a paper bag. 3. The Internet Freedom Fee. Imagine trying to upload a vacation photo. You finally got the perfect shot of your frozen daiquiri with the sunset behind it. You hit share, and you're still staring at the loading wheel 30 seconds later. That's when you realize Royal Caribbean's VOOM internet packages aren't just pricey, they re-tiered. And the surf package? Basically useless for anything beyond checking email. Want social media or video calls? You'll need the more expensive Surf Plus Stream package. A solo traveler on Symphony thought she was being thrifty by choosing the cheapest VOOM plan. She figured, I'll just check in with family and post a few pics. But after 2 days of failed calls and frozen Instagram uploads, she had to upgrade mid-cruise. Her internet bill? $179 for 1 week. That's more than some people's monthly Wi-Fi at home. Why this matters: Royal Caribbean sells VOOM as the fastest internet at sea. But the truth is, unless you pay for the higher tier plan, you're basically paying for dial-up in 2025. And once you're on board, you're a captive audience. No Starbucks Wi-Fi to save you here. Do this instead. If you must stay connected, pre-purchase your VOOM package before the cruise in the cruise planner. It's usually 20–30% cheaper than onboard. But here's the sneaky trick. If you're traveling with family, don't buy a package for everyone. Buy 1 or 2 devices and rotate logins. You don't all need TikTok at the same time. And if you can unplug, do it. Nothing feels better than telling your boss, sorry, ship Wi-Fi is terrible, while sipping a cocktail guilt-free. And just wait. If you thought internet charges were bad, fee number 4 is literally money you pay just to get on and off the ship. 4. The mysterious port fees and taxes. You're standing in line at guest services on the last night. A woman in front of you is nearly in tears. She booked a $390 cruise deal she saw online. Sounded like the steal of the century. But her final invoice? Closer to $700. Why? Because Royal Caribbean adds port fees and government taxes that don't show up in the flashy headline price. These aren't optional. Every passenger pays them. And depending on your itinerary, they can run $100–250 per person. A couple I met on Freedom of the Seas budgeted perfectly. $399 each for the cruise fare, $400 total for flights, and maybe $300 for extras. But when the invoice came in with $478 in port fees, their cheap cruise suddenly cost almost double. Their trip wasn't ruined, but their credit card bill sure was. Why this matters: port fees are non-negotiable. Every island charges cruise lines for docking, security, and environmental impact. Royal Caribbean passes that straight on to you. The problem is, they bury it in the fine print until you're at checkout. It's like buying concert tickets, except instead of a $15 ticketing fee, it's $200 in mystery charges. Do this instead. Always click through to the final checkout screen before bragging about your cheap cruise deal. And compare itineraries. Some ports charge much higher fees than others. Pro tip: shorter cruises with fewer stops usually mean lower port fees. And if you see 2 itineraries at the same base fare, the one with fewer exotic ports will likely save you a couple $100. Because nothing stings like paying $120 just for the privilege of stepping onto an island you didn't even get to enjoy because it rained all day. 5 specialty dining cover charges. You're on board, and you see the giant glowing sign for Chop's Grill or Jamie's Italian. The menu looks incredible, a perfect date night, and the sign says $54.99 per person. Not bad compared to a nice restaurant back home, right? So you book it. But then you sit down, open the menu, and discover, surprise, that $54.99 is just the cover charge. Premium cuts, seafood, or certain wine pairings, those cost extra on top. One honeymoon couple thought they were splurging on a romantic dinner at Chop's. They paid $110 for 2 covers. Then came dessert, and a bottle of champagne the waiter recommended. By the time they left, their splurge dinner rang up at $240. That was more than their onboard photo package. Why this matters: Royal Caribbean promotes specialty dining as one flat price. But unless you're careful, the upsells can make it just as pricey as land-based fine dining. You're already paying for food included in your fare. This is pure extra. And here is the kicker: some dishes you re-upsold on, like lobster tails, are included for free on certain nights in the main dining room. Do this instead. If you love dining variety, grab a specialty dining package before you sail. It's usually cheaper than paying a la carte. And don't be afraid to stick to what's included in your cover charge. The staff may tempt you, but you don't have to upgrade every dish. Or plan ahead. Look up which night's lobster or prime rib are served in the main dining room and schedule your specialty night for a different day. That way you're not paying double for something you could have had for free. Because nothing ruins a filet mignon faster than realizing you just paid 80 extra for the same cut you could have had at dinner tomorrow. There were 6 daily gratuities you can't escape. You wake up on day 2 of your cruise, open the Royal Caribbean app, and see a mysterious line item. Service gratuities, $8 per person per day. Wait, what? You didn't authorize that. You didn't press add. Yet there it is, quietly ticking up every single day you're on board. By the end of a 7-night cruise for a family of 4, that's over $500 automatically added to your account. I met a family on Oasis of the Seas who thought they were being smart by skipping specialty dining and limiting drinks. They figured their extras bill would be small. But when they saw a $504 gratuity line at checkout, they nearly fainted. They had no idea this fee existed. And yes, it's mandatory unless you go to guest services and ask for it to be adjusted. Why this matters? Royal Caribbean frames this as tipping the hardworking crew. And yes, the crew absolutely deserves to be tipped. But the problem is, many first-time cruisers don't realize this isn't optional. It's not a nice gesture, it's baked into the system. So your all-inclusive cruise fare? Not so inclusive. Do this instead. If you want to control this fee, you have 2 options. Prepay gratuities before your cruise. That way it doesn't sneak up on you at the end. If you truly feel service didn't match the charge, you can visit guest services and adjust it. But be prepared for awkward stares. Better yet, budget for it. Add $18-20 per person per day to your cruise total before you even book. That way, you're not blindsided. Because nothing feels worse than realizing you've tipped more than your entire spa treatment without even noticing. For 7. Tender boat fees, paying just to step on shore. You've made it to paradise, only to find out the ship can dock at the pier. Instead, you're funneled onto little orange boats called tenders that shuttle you to land. Here's the kicker. In some cases, those tender rides aren't included. You're literally paying a transport fee just to leave the ship. On a Caribbean itinerary, a couple was excited to explore Royal Caribbean's private port. But when tenders were required, they were shocked to learn it wasn't complimentary for certain excursions. They forked over $30 per person round trip just to get ashore. Multiply that by a family of 4, that's $120 for what's basically a 5-minute ferry ride. Why this matters? Tender ports aren't rare. Popular stops like Grand Cayman and certain private islands often require them. And while Royal Caribbean sometimes includes tendering, other times they slide in priority tender fees or bundle them with shore excursions. That means if you're not paying attention, you might shell out money just to set foot on land. Do this instead. Here's the pro move. Research your itinerary in advance. If you see a port that's tender only, check whether transportation is complimentary or not. If you're planning excursions through independent vendors, budget extra for potential tender tickets. Or better yet, book a Royal Caribbean excursion that includes the tender so you're not double charged, because nothing feels sillier than explaining to your boss, yeah, I spent $120 just to leave the boat for 3 hours. And just wait, if you think paying to step on land is bad, Fee Y8 is a sneaky one that shows up in your stateroom every single day whether you asked for it or not. 8. Bottled water delivery trap. You open your stateroom door after muster drill and notice a neat little tray of bottled water sitting on the desk. Ice cold. Tempting. You think, wow, Royal Caribbean is really taking care of us. But here's the catch. That water isn't complimentary. The second you crack one open, you're charged $3.95, $5.95 per bottle, plus gratuity. A dad I spoke to on Anthem of the Seas thought the water was free. His kids grabbed one every day before heading to the pool. By the end of the week, $87 in bottled water charges. For water. He was livid because technically, Royal Caribbean had free water available at every dining venue on board. Why this matters. This is a psychology trick. The cruise line knows you're tired, thirsty, and distracted on embarkation day. They plant premium water in your cabin because 9 times out of 10, you'll assume it's included. Multiply that by 5,000 passengers. That's a huge payday for Royal Caribbean on something that costs them pennies. Do this instead. Don't touch the water bottles unless you're 100% fine with paying. If you like having bottled water handy, order a water package before you sail. It's far cheaper per bottle. Or just bring a reusable bottle and refill it at the Windjammer Buffet or Cafe Promenade. The water's perfectly safe, because nothing leaves a bad taste in your mouth like realizing you just paid $6 for something that literally falls from the sky. Number 9. Hidden spa service charges. You finally book that relaxing spa massage. The room smells like lavender, the music is soothing, and for 50 glorious minutes you forget all about work emails and screaming kids. Then comes the bill. Your $149 massage suddenly totals $176 because of an automatic 18% spa service charge. Oh, and the therapist will still hand you a form asking for an additional tip. A woman I met on Spectrum of the Seas booked 2 massages during her 10-night cruise. She budgeted $300. Instead, she was charged $356 plus another $40 she felt pressured to tip. That's almost $100 over what she expected. She left the spa more stressed than when she walked in. Why this matters: Royal Caribbean markets spa services at flat rates. But just like drinks and specialty dining, that 18-20% gratuity is automatically attached. And the staff often suggest tipping on top of that, so you're cornered into either double tipping or feeling guilty for saying no. Do this instead. Always ask, does this price include gratuity, before booking? It does, but they won't remind you. If you're a spa lover, look for port day discounts. Prices often drop when most passengers are ashore. Or better yet, save spa splurges for land-based vacations, where you'll pay half the price without surprise fees. Because nothing kills a massage vibe faster than a bill that makes your blood pressure spike. 10 automatic bar snacks and premium coffee. You sit at the schooner bar, order a cocktail, and before you can even ask, the bartender plops down a little bowl of mixed nuts. You think, nice, free snack, except it isn't. Those complimentary snacks can quietly show up on your bill. Same goes for that iced latte at Cafe Promenade. You assume it's just coffee, included like the free drip stuff in the dining room, but nope. Specialty coffee. For $6 a cup, plus gratuity. On Harmony of the Seas, a couple ordered just coffee every morning at Cafe Promenade, thinking it was included. They didn't realize they'd been getting specialty espresso drinks. At checkout, they found $196 in coffee charges for the week. For coffee. And yes, those little bar snacks you didn't ask for, they can add up the same way. Why this matters. Royal Caribbean banks on the fact that people are distracted on vacation. You assume snack bowls and coffee mean the same thing everywhere on board. But the fine print says otherwise. So while you're sipping your $14 margarita, you might unknowingly tack on another $5 for that cappuccino you thought was free. Do this instead. Stick to the free drip coffee in the dining room, Windjammer Buffet, or room service, continental breakfast. If you're a caffeine lover, grab a coffee card package. It knocks the price per cup way down. And if you didn't order snacks, politely say no. Don't assume they're included just because they land on your table, because the only thing bitterer than espresso is finding out you just paid $200 for foam and nuts. 11. Shore excursion markups. You step off the ship in Nassau and see a giant sign. Snorkeling adventure, $89 per person, book on board. Sounds fun, right? But here's the dirty secret. The same excursion sold by local operators at the pier can cost 30 to 40% less. Royal Caribbean slaps a markup on nearly every tour they sell. And while you're repaying for peace of mind that you won to miss the ship, you're also paying a hefty premium. A family of 4 booked a dolphin swim through Royal Caribbean for $140 each. That's $596 total. When they got to the pier, they saw the same vendor offering walk-up tickets for $99 each. They overpaid $200, enough for a second shore day. Why this matters? The cruise line has exclusive contracts with certain vendors. That means they can inflate the price while guaranteeing passengers. And most first-timers don't realize there are alternatives just steps away. Yes, booking through Royal Caribbean gives you the security that the ship won, leave without you if the excursion runs late, but you're paying big for that guarantee. Do this instead. If you're comfortable with a little DIY planning, book excursions directly with reputable vendors in advance. Check reviews on sites like TripAdvisor or Viator. You'll often save 30–50%. Or mix it up. Book your big excursion, like a full-day tour, through Royal Caribbean for peace of mind, but do smaller activities on your own. Because nothing ruins swimming with dolphins faster than realizing you paid double to do the exact same thing as the family in line behind you. Through hour 12, chair hog penalty, aka the poolside scam. It's 9 a.m. You head up to the pool deck dreaming of grabbing a lounger, only to find every single chair already reserved with towels and flip-flops. Not a soul in sight. On Odyssey of the Seas, a couple told me they ended up paying $280 for a shaded daybed for the week because they couldn't find chairs after 10 a.m. every day. The free chairs were technically first come, first served, but in reality, they were gone by sunrise. So they shelled out big bucks just to avoid sitting on the deck floor. Why this matters? Royal Caribbean knows chair hogging is a problem, but instead of enforcing the rules, they monetize it. They create premium seating areas and charge extra, which means if you want actual comfort, you're cornered into paying. And let us be honest, you didn't book a cruise to spend your mornings hunting for plastic chairs. Do this. Instead, skip the overpriced loungers. If you're flexible, head to the solarium, adults-only area, early. It's quieter and less competitive. Or plan pool time on port days when half the ship is ashore. If you want guaranteed comfort, pre-book a cabana at the private islands, like Coco Cay. At least then you're paying for space with perks, not a plastic chair you should have had for free. Because nothing burns faster than your skin, except your wallet when you pay $80 for a chair. 13. Souvenir. Photo package trap. It's formal night. You're dressed up, smiling in front of the grand staircase while the ship's photographer lines you up. You think, this'll be a nice keepsake. But at the end of the week, that single 8x10 print costs $24.99. And if you want the digital package with unlimited photos, that's $199 to $49 per family. A first-time cruiser I met on Liberty of the Seas fell for every photographer's pitch. She ended up with 14 prints at $25 each. That's $350 in photos she could have taken with her phone, for free. The kicker? She admitted most of them went into a drawer at home, never to be looked at again. Why this matters? Royal Caribbean uses photographers as roaming salespeople. They'll pop up everywhere. Gangway, dining room, even on the pool deck. It feels fun and spontaneous, until you realize each smile is a $25 upsell. Multiply that by multiple nights, and you're looking at hundreds in memories you didn't plan for. Do this instead. Take your own photos. Modern smartphones take incredible shots. If you do want professional pics, decide upfront whether to buy a full digital package, best if you're traveling with a big family, or skip it entirely. And pro tip, ask the photographers to take a shot with your phone too. Most will happily do it, because nothing fades faster than cruise photos, except your enthusiasm when you realize you dropped $250 on pictures you didn't even frame. Recap and outro. So let's tally this up. Service charges hidden in your cocktails. $7.95 for a midnight burger. Wi-Fi that costs more than your home internet. Port taxes that nearly double your cheap fare. Dining upsells that make filet mignon taste bitter. Gratuities you didn't even know existed. Tender boats that cost you money just to touch land. $6 water bottles, $200 spa surcharges, $196 coffee bills. Excursion markups, poolside seat rentals, and souvenir photo traps. Add it all together, and your Royal Caribbean bargain vacation can easily bleed an extra $1,000 to $2,000 without you realizing. But now, you know the traps. You know how to dodge them. And you can finally enjoy your cruise without worrying that every piña colada or sunset selfie is secretly costing you double. Want to make sure you never fall for cruise line money traps again? It's the perfect follow-up to keep your wallet safe at sea.